In this video, let us see about execution of for loops. So here I have set up a file known as for underscore loop. So let me just zoom in. So let us begin with a basic for loop. Okay. So with respect to the syntax, we'll be again using we shall use the range function itself. So to loop number of iterative times. So for example, for let me take my variable as x in range. Maybe I want to repeat it 10 times. Okay. And again here at the end of any conditional statements or similar to conditional statements, we need a semicolon to end it. And when you press enter, you can see automatically it is indenting like before we had seen in conditional statements. Now you can just print. Okay, you can print anything. Maybe print. I will just print as iteration number. And I'll just give we can't concatenate by using plus, but I can use like this. Okay, so I can tell this, and now I need to exit out of the loop, so I'll just unindent it, and I can just print as outside for loop. Okay, maybe for loop completed. Okay, so let us just save this and execute it. So here we can see iteration number 0. So basically when you give a range function over here, it will start iteration from 0 and it will go up to uh, whatever you have given in this number minus 1. Okay, so that is what is happening. So let me just comment it. Now we can loop through maybe a range. You can tell you suppose you want to start from the number iteration number 2 until maybe 9 itself. So 2 comma 10 you can be given. So I can done that. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 9. And also you can range in terms of steps. Okay, so basically range function, if you check the data sheet, so basically here it will be like n minus 1, and also the step function start, stopping. So basically it won't stop at that variable, but the previous one. The step, maybe I want to jump from only even numbers 2, 4, 6. So you can just give step plus 2. Let me just run that. So here you can see only even numbers 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so these are the different ways you can use range functions. So this is just looping around using a range function. Okay, so what if we have some kind of strings? So I'll just let me just comment this out, and we can just see the other way of looping. So as I was saying, we can loop through strings. Okay, so I can define any string in a variable. Maybe I'll just define as my like maybe my underscore str will be equal to, now I can give it as string. So this is a string, something like this. Okay, so now what I can do is I can loop as for x in. Okay, so in is the keyword which I'll be using, and I can give as my string colon. I'll just print out my string, the character of x in my string. So I'll be indexing it. So basically my string in square brackets, I will be passing the value of x. Okay, and finally I can just give I'm done with the loop. So maybe I can just copy this. Don't forget to undent it, else it will be just printing for all the iterations. Okay, so let us go ahead and save this and execute it. Okay, it is telling it's an integer. Yes, obviously it's an integer. So basically here what it is happening is, instead of using the instead of assigning the numbers, it is taking letter by letter itself. So if I just print what exactly is my string, so we will be getting the actual value. Okay, let me just run that. So you can see string is printed, and also you need not to print it directly itself. Maybe here what we have is capital letters of string. If I want to make it to lower, I can just lower it. So I can just give the lower command, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, or lower of x. Okay, so let me just run that. You can see the lower case is being printed over here. Okay, so that is about looping through strings, so individual characters. Similarly, we'll be learning of a list soon, but here I would like to show you a small example, so don't worry about lists. So here basically a list is a set of elements where we will be storing it. So basically you can have those lists. Okay, so for example, if I have a list something like my list will be equal to underscore list. I will be giving, I'll just give set of alphabetic characters. So I need square brackets for the list. So it will be like A, maybe A, B, C. Okay. And maybe another, this is a list, end of list, something like this. Okay. So I can loop through this string. So basically I can just use the same for command, but instead of list, instead of string, I will be using my list. And here I'll just give x as maybe lowercase or uppercase. We can give lowercase itself. So let me just execute this. So here it is just executing A, B, C and telling end of list. So all these are uh, done. Also with respect to primitives, you can just not lower it, maybe uppercase itself. So that is about simple examples with respect to looping through strings or looping through lists. Okay. Now let us see what is exactly mean by bailing out of the loop. So typically we'll be using the break function to just come out of the loop. Okay. So we will be taking the same example. Okay. So I'll just copy the paste over here and we'll remove the step function and maybe we can range through 10 itself. Okay. So range through 10. But basically I want only numbers to be printed even though my range is still 10, or you can consider string. Okay. So I think string would be a better example than numbers over here, since like you wanna print a certain number of characters itself, not more than that. So I'll just get this over here, okay, and I just want to print my x value until only three numbers or something like this, and it's only three iterations. Okay, so what I can do is here I will be comparing if my x is double equal to a character as maybe I. Okay, so when it comes to I just wanna maybe R, let us give R. So str, so it should print only str, ing shouldn't be printed. So at this condition I need to break out of the loop. Okay, so here for loop will be completed. So let us run this and see whether it executes as we are thinking. Yes, it is like str and ing is not printed. So basically it is breaking out of the loop. Okay, and what if I want to I want to skip this I and continue with ng. So that is where our looping with continue comes into picture. So basically I can just have this as instead of break I can give as continue keyword. Okay, so let's just run that. So here you can see it is actually printing everything. The reason is over here it is executing, it is terminating this sequence, but this is the end of line. So if at all I have this statement after my if. Okay, so in this scenario what it is seeing is it is checking the condition first and then printing the value of the iterative. Okay, whatever it is in the iterative variable. So now it will check for r over here. If r is present it won't print r, remaining it will be printing. Okay, so let us see that. So yes, r is missing. So basically here I'm coming for r. I'm going like, is this condition satisfied? Yes. So I'm gonna give continue for my for loop to continue with the next iteration and skip the present iteration. So what and all statements you have under this continue statement won't be executed for that particular iterative value. Okay, so that is about looping or bailing out and also looping using continue. And what about nested? Okay, so basically we can have a for loop inside and another for loop itself. So it need not to be for inside for also. So next we'll be seeing about while loop. So even while loops can be used. So basically how can these nested will be used? So we'll just take something like printing A, B, C maybe. So we'll take this list itself. So instead of end of characters, I'll just give ABC, and also I'll print it for range. So for X, maybe we can use two variables in underscore list, and for maybe Y in range 3. Okay, so just looping around three times. So I just want to print uh, Y over here, and also for this loop I want to print X. So maybe after the loop, so over here, so this is outside the uh, inner loop. Okay, so this is the inner loop, so this is outside the inner loop. So maybe you can have this over here also. So maybe this is like for A it should print 0 to 2, B also 0 to 2, C also 0 to 2. So basically in the first iterative it will become A for X, and B will take the value 0, 1, 2. Okay, so after taking all three values, it will be going to printing of x, that is a, and then it will be repeating for b and c. So let us quickly run this and check. Yes, as I was telling, it will be looping around for 0 to 2 and then a b c. So maybe we can tell a b c in a different way. So I would like to call it as first loop complete. Okay, so maybe I'll just put this over here, and here I'm using strings inside itself, right? So I can use concatenation. Okay, I can concatenate these two strings. So I'll just call this first, second, and finally third. So let me just save this and execute. So here it is showing 0, 1, 2. So here we don't have a space after this, so it is concatenating without a space. So remember, the even a space character is even space is a character. Okay, so you can just give a space over here, re-execute, put a proper formatting. So here you can see 0, 1, 2 for loop 1, 0, 1, 2 for loop 2, and 0, 1, 2 for loop 3. So maybe you have two different conditions which should be satisfied for everything. So you can use this such nested list. So that's all for this video. We'll be seeing about while loop in the next video.